I'm your host, Sean MacKenzie. Thank you for joining me once again on my channel on data engineering and data analytics. In this episode, we return to our Python playlist, and we're going to look at pandas and how to merge data frames together using single key or dual keys in this example. And we're going to do this. We're going to show an example between three different tables, and that's going to give us an idea of how we can merge the data together and get a nice output that has all the fields that we want. So without further ado, let's get to our pandas merge operations. Okay, so in this example, I've got this access data in an access database, and there's three tables. The first one's orders, and it has a composite key which is reflected in the order items. So there's keep in mind that the join between those two tables will be using two fields, and you can see this has a product ID and a price in it, and then we've got a product table that is in that's another table that we can use in our joins here. And so if we wanted to get a view across all of those, and we're doing it in Python, then that would be a good example of how to do a merge. So say you're connecting to an access database and you're getting a bunch of data out and you need to merge it, but it could be CSV files or whatever. Your source data could be from just about anywhere. So we'll import PyODBC as Pyo and import pandas as PD, and then we can give some feedback just saying we're opening up the database, and we'll get our connection string, which I'm just pasting in from another file that I had that has a connection string to that database, and so we'll close that off, and that's our connection string for ODBC, and then we'll create our connection, and we'll just say pyo.connect, and then we'll use our connection string, and then create our SQL string, and we'll just say, in this case we'll say select star from order or orders, and I believe that will get us exactly what we want. So we've got orders, and then we'll go ahead and create a data frame using pandas. So we'll just say orders is equal to pd.readSQL, then we'll just plug our SQL string and our connection in, and we're off to the races. So if we got everything right there, we can, just to test it out, we'll print our orders head, and we'll just grab the top 10 records there, and then we can go ahead and we'll probably want to close that. Good idea to close our connections whenever we open up. I'll just throw that in just after our order statement here for now. We'll do cnn.close, and that's gonna close it, and then we can print and do all kinds of things afterwards. So if I hit F5 on that and let it go, you can see it takes a minute. It's firing up, connecting to the database, and then we've got there's our orders table. So we've loaded the orders table into a data frame, and that's quite handy. So I'm going to take that close. I'll move it down to the bottom because we want to do a little bit more here before we start merging. And for our next table, I will get our next data frame. I'll use the SQL string again. I'll just say select star from order items, which is the second table that we saw as a source table, and I'm just gonna call it items, and then that'll be pd.readSQL, and then I'll plunk in my SQL string in my connection again. That'll give us our second data frame for items, and we can test that out by using items.head, just as we did in the last example. Hit F5 on that, and the order items looks like that. It's got a bunch of keys in it, and that's something that we're going to use for the joins. So as you can see, there's division and order ID is in this table, as well as being the primary key for the first table. It's sort of like the foreign key in the order items table. So the order items table has both of those guys, order ID and division, and we're going to be joining or merging based off of those, and we can do that as we go here. But before we do that, we're going to grab our products table. We'll use our SQL string again. We'll just say select star from order product, and then we'll do the same thing. I'll just call it product equals pd.readsql, and then we'll use our SQL string and our connection once again. We'll test that out to make sure we actually got something, just as we did in the others, and we can do that by using a print statement to print the head 10 rows of that product table as well. And there we go. We've got print products.head 10, and then we can save that and hit F5, and that's going to give us back our products table. Okay, so we've got all three tables that we want. There's the product ID. It's primary key in the product table, a foreign key in the orders table, order items table I should say, which is a junction table in SQL speak, and so we've now got all the pieces we need. If we had, in another scenario, we brought all these tables into DataFrames, and now we want to merge them together to get some output. And so what we might want to do is, say, call it order items, and then that'll merge the orders and the items together. And in this case, we would say pd.merge. First argument is the orders, second argument is the items, and then we'll say on. Now in that case, you can just join it based off of a single key, like we could say just order ID, and that would do it. But in the case of these two tables, there's a composite key, so they're joined on order ID and division. So if you just join on order ID, you're going to get some weird output. And as you can see here, the order ID and division, there's a order ID 2 in both division A and B. So if you just join on one, you're going to get some funky output. So what we're going to do is we're going to join on order ID and division, and we'll put that in the square brackets there. And so that's going to give us a nice join between those two, and we can go print order items head, and that's going to give us the merged output. And so here we go. We've got on the left, we've got our order table with the last name and everything, and then on the right side of all those columns, it's going to have the order item ID and the price and everything. And it's got the product ID, which you can see up there. That's been joined in, but it does not have the product description yet because we did not merge that table in yet. So if you were coming from the SQL world, this would be like doing, an inner join on, order ID equals order ID and division equals division between the two tables. But what if we wanted to add the third table into the mix? We could create an order items products data frame, and in that case we'll merge in our products, just to show you how that works. And we'll do this one is going to be, we're going to have order items on the left as the first data frame, and we'll have products as the merging in data frame, and then we can say just on product ID this time without square brackets because there's only one key between the two, and it's the single field makes up the key for product, and so we can just join it based off of the one key field. So we can say print our order items products head, and then get the 10 rows there, and that should give us an output that has everything joined together across the junction table, which is the items, and there we go. So you can see now we have the order ID, division, last name, as well as the product ID and price, and the product name, which the product name comes from the product table, and so we've got it all in one big data frame now, which we can use for various purposes. So you can see one order contains those three, the division A and order number 1 has those 3 items, and it looks like there's another one there, so they're obviously out of order here. We could sort this if we wanted, because division A1 also has this Pokemon game, and so that one has 4 orders on it, or 4 items on it, I should say, and but it's all joined in one table, and that's exactly what we want. So now we can sort it, we can do all kinds of output and group bys and stuff on it, and get a nice output. So that shows us the inner join from SQL, so that's where all the keys match in both tables. But what if we wanted to show a left join, where it'll show all of the rows in one table, and just the matching rows in another table, which would be the equivalent of a left join in SQL. Well, we can do that too, and so in this case what I'll do is I'll merge the products table with the items data table, and we'll do it on product ID, but we'll specify how is equal to left. The default is inner, so that's why we didn't see it before. So if we say left join there, then that's going to do the equivalent of a left join in SQL. So we can print that off, and we'll put a print statement in. We'll do our header, and just see how it looks when we spit it out. So this will print out all the products, and then if there's matching order items that have been used using that product, then it'll show that. But if there's none, it should show like a null or not a number. And so we'll go ahead and run that, and there you go. So the top 10 rows out of that join show that the very first row, Alice in Wonderland, it has no orders. It's not, or I should say, it is not an order item on any orders. And the rest of those books do, or those toys and books do have orders. Looks like order number 5 has the Pokemon game, and order 1 has the Pokemon game. And if we showed the tail of that data frame, we might see some more. And yes, there you go. So there's a whole bunch here that did not have associated order items, so they were not included. So they have no orders yet. And that's nice and easy to see using a left join. And you can also use a right join or an outer join. And that is how you do merge in Pandas. Hope you enjoyed today's discussion about how to do a merge with Pandas Dataframes. If you like what you saw today, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and click the bell when you see the bell. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave those in the comment section below. Have a great day, have a safe day, and I'll catch you next time.